Okay, hi there and welcome to the second video in this particular session. This is the third session of the 6 lessons on aspects of the global economic crisis. This video we're going to take a quick look at how a recession can turn into a depression, and there are genuine fears that many countries in the world will experience a very deep recession, perhaps a depression, in the next year or two. One way of thinking about the risk is to think about the waves that can cause a downturn in the economy, which is pretty much inevitable, into a much longer depression. So wave 1 is the phase we've been through already. This is when the social distancing is coming in, government's asking people to stay at home to protect the NHS and save lives. The sudden stop is the first wave, and of course we saw many shops and gyms and cinemas and factories closing down. So that's the sudden stop, which brings a very sharp downturn in economic activity. Then that morphs into the next wave, and this is when we start to see a fall in employment. In America, they've seen millions of people making applications for unemployment assistance. People losing their jobs, some people being furloughed, but many being laid off. And of course, if you don't have a job, you suffer a fall in wage income. And we've seen a sharp fall in both business and consumer confidence. The third wave is when those negative effects of a fall in employment start having a wider effect across the economy. And economists have a phrase for this. They call it a negative multiplier effect. And what that means is that people are delaying their spending. They're holding back. They're building up cash reserves in their bank account but not spending it. Perhaps they're saving more because of fear of job losses and the fear of the uncertainty, the unknown of the months ahead. And if people are not spending money, well, then there's a fall in orders for things like component parts. The building industry is ordering fewer bricks and cement. Shops cutting back on orders for food and clothing. So the demand for and production in industries supplying components and raw materials will go down as well. And we call that the negative multiplier effect. Then businesses will be thinking, well, these are tough times. We're producing less goods and services. Do we necessarily need to go ahead with those investment projects that we had planned? So the fourth wave can be where businesses start to cut back on their planned capital investment in new machinery, new factories, new products. So therefore we see a fall in orders for new equipment, from JCB diggers to hardware and software. And of course those supply chain industries affected in the third wave, the businesses making textiles for the clothing industry, the food processing industries making food for the restaurants that have closed, they may well cut back on their investment as well. So the sudden stop, the fall in employment, the negative multiplier effects, the fall in investment, these can accelerate and amplify the downturn in the economy. And the fifth wave is probably where we're heading in the near term. A lot of businesses will struggle to stay afloat. Many small and medium-sized enterprises, for example, may run out of cash. They may fail. And if businesses fail and default on loans, there are increased risks from bad debts for the banking sector, financial sector, including commercial banks and insurance companies. Many banks may become more reluctant, in the absence of government intervention, reluctant to lend to small businesses and others who need money to stay afloat. Can you see here, as we go from left to right, that there's a series of wave effects that can turn recession into depression if governments don't intervene? But we'll turn to the economist John Maynard Keynes and his views in the next video.